Welcome to the TFO podcast, where guests get to give their thoughts, feelings, and opinions on a variety of subjects. This podcast is hosted by your very own Stacy Cook, and as always, sponsored by Fool's Guide Life Coaching. Follow me on all social media platforms. So give it up for our guest today. Yeah.
The dispensary where you worked, you drive past there every day. The line is out the door. I mean, because that's one of the few places in the Quad Cities where they can go and do that.
Right.
I'm sure in Chicago where it's legal, and especially in California, you might not have the same amount of lines, but because there's more opportunity.
Right.
I don't know. I don't.
Oh no,
know
yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, the difference between, I guess, the three places is, so in the Quad Cities you have a border state. It's a border line state. So with the neighboring state being illegal,
Yep.
but you're able to buy if you live in that state and bring it back there. It does bring a lot of the more straight and narrow, the people who are probably the older people, working class people who don't want to go to some dealer or something like that. It brings those people to say, okay, well, I'd rather go over there and try my luck here than, go around or the alternative, I guess. And then in Chicago, you have it where there's more places, and then it's more efficient, the process of how they're getting the patients and all of that through there. And then in California, I would say that every single other door that you look at is a dispensary. So
Yeah.
you can pretty much just go wherever. But I would say that, for the Quad Cities, there's a huge, even cultural difference between the three places in the legalization of cannabis and I've worked in all three places obviously around this, is that so California's so advanced in it, they've been going through this battle or this fight or whatever for 15 years at least, with federal things and state laws and all of this, even medically, that they kind of have made their money. They feel like they tried to regulate it. It's gotten a little bit to where we tried to do the right thing. Now the right thing's kind of the wrong thing, but maybe can't really go back. It's, one of those things. Chicago is one of those places where, or Illinois, I guess, it's new. We are a lesser financial state.
Yes. We're broke, is what you're saying.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, Illinois
we're broke.
is
So it creates a lot of revenue right now. So it's doing everything that it needs to. And then for Iowa sees no need to legalize it, but Illinois kind of likes that because they're now getting all of these Iowa residents to purchase in Illinois too, so they're still getting the tax off of it, So it's kind of one of those things where, for me, for somebody who probably more wants to live in a California laxed law place, it is hard to live somewhere like this because you think, well, why do they do it here and it works so good, or nobody says anything, but you do it here and it's the end of the world,
If California has so much legal weed, how come there's people that are still selling? Why do drug dealers still sell weed? If I can go get weed anywhere in California, I don't understand that.
Drug dealers sell weed because now, especially nowadays, I remember back when I was a kid, and I've kind of watched the weed price go like this. So I've watched it go from $20 a bag
Mhm.
to 60 to
Right.
30, 25, 40,
Mm-hmm.
25
It's the
again.
stock market,
You know, it's
right?
a stock market
Yep.
type thing, you know.
So where's it going? Are we going to see someday legalized marijuana in 50 states, or do you think it's always going to be this kind of piecemeal? Some states do, some don't.
So I do think that it will be nationally decriminalized for sure. Not necessarily that it'll be legal, but I don't think that people will really be going to prison as they once, 20 years ago somebody had a bag, they might have went to jail for 20 years and just
Right.
got out, and now somebody's got that bag, they get a ticket, and you're like,
It
man, I
happens.
just spent my whole life, and it's like evolution, dude.
Right? Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time.
Right,
Yep,
right.
that's it.
Wrong generation,
Yeah.
like type of thing. So, but do I see it necessarily being not controlled by the government ever? No.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, as we watch in politics, people arguing, we never really come to a consensus on anything, and something that drives that kind of money.
This is a subject that there's no, I know people always say, there's a gray area. That subject in general is just in the gray area. It's somewhere in between. It's always kind of, a lot of people never did it, so they have no reason to care if people do it or not. A lot of people have done it, and they care a lot if it is or not. And then you have the middle ground person who's like, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah,
I don't do it anymore. I don't care if it is. I don't care if it's not. Whatever. But the people on the one extreme, because of what it is, where it started, the history of it, what we've all thought, the devil's lettuce, and all of this, it's always going to be one of those radical movements, where it's like, if you do that, you're really changing history. That's what it would be. All this recreational legalization, but state legalization is nice, and it's a little, give you a little, what do you call it? When you're on a leash, they kind of give you a little bit of pull, give you a little room, but they're not really, they're just waiting to take it back,
So when I was just in Atlanta last year, and they had the biker boys. So these guys, the bikes, they ride down the middle of the streets, riding around the cops, doing circles around the cops and whatever. You see on, whether it be on,
the street.
Well, I mean, just like online, whether it be on Facebook, or you can see it on TikTok or something, that these kids are tearing up. They doing, they blocked off the highways, racing, doing all stuff. Is that really a thing, or is this just for the video?
No, they really do that. In California, I know that we have a thing called Signal, and it's like a messenger type thing, but you gotta be invited into it. It's a real cool thing, and they send out a message. They'll have like teams of cars. It won't just be like oh, me and you, we're gonna go out and race our car. They'll say, all right, you guys will be on 7th, and you'll be on 5th, and you guys will be on Mateo, and you go first. And then when the cops all come to you guys, because we're downtown, so it'll be busy, packed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They do it at 6, 5, or 6 o'clock at night when the traffic's all crazy, so the cops can't even get into,
Right.
So then the cops come to that one. Well, then the next one's going, and then the next one's going. So they just kind of are like ahead of everybody else, but they're doing it because a lot of people do come to watch it. I mean, a lot of people get the message, and they're out of their cars already making a scene out of it. You know what I mean? I guess those are another group that you would say, like, those are more outlawed people.
Mm-hmm.
So those people are definitely in. I think in California, that is the free place of living for someone who has non-claimable funds.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went out there, my friend Callie actually, it's like one of my best friends, took me to a restaurant. It was my first time being at this restaurant. And I'm like, why do you, like, you're going to get us kicked out of here because you got weed in here and
Right.
they're going to kick us out, you know? And they're like, no, if you spend over $500 in here, you can smoke weed. I'm like, you can just do that. Like, the people are going to watch us smoke in here. And he was like, yeah, you know? And then go to the next place, you go to a nightclub and they say, they don't care, smoke weed here. How? You know, because if I were to do something like that here, it would be like, I would be arrested, if not tackled.
Yeah.
At least, you know, like somebody's coming for me. Nobody's just letting me do that, you know, inside of somewhere. So it's like, they don't care who I am. They're not going to let me do that. But out there, it's just crazy to see, like, okay, so the people with money here are a different crowd of people. So these people are maybe, you know, the owner of this business. Who knows what else he owns, you know? It's always something like that. It's always this family, you never know who they are, where they came from, or why all of these places are the hot places for the bougie or the rich people to go. But then once you go inside of them, you realize, okay, it's because these people are tailoring to this group of people. They've found out these are the people with money who spend money just for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And even Rolex. Rolex used to be, I think when I first started, because, you know, I get into a lot of different businesses and stuff with people. So a lot of these people are jewelers that I talk to. And when I first got into this business, like a Rolex was $20,000, you know?
Right.
And there was only a couple hundred of them. Now they call them, you know, they use little terms. They call it a bust down Rollie. They're like, you can go get a bust down Rollie, like a $5,000 Rolex. Just all of a sudden those became a thing. And it's like, I think because Rolex realized that there's people who have money who want to watch.
In the Quad Cities, when I picture somebody that I would say has a lot of money, they look a certain way. And I think you and I probably can picture that person, what they look like. When I think about California and I think about somebody that has a lot of money, they could be 15. They could be 17.
The youngest millionaire I know
whatever.
is 17 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, I meet a 17-year-old and he says, I started my own NFT and I got $250,000. It's like, well, half the world doesn't know what that is.
Yeah.
The people who do, you just got them for $250,000 and you're on to the next thing. But to be that young and to see some of this, it's like, for me, I feel old compared to these people. I'm like, I'm on a late start.
So what do you, how do you think people like, you
I guess it's hard to explain to somebody the difference between someone like you who woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning this whole week and had to stay late to work and drive in the snow and
all that,
and was short-staffed and got yelled at and all of those things. For that person to get their paycheck and say, I'm going to go, it's $1,700. I'm going to go buy a $1,500 steak. But look at all the stuff that you went through.
Yeah.
These are, do nothing. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say that we're doing nothing because no, it's not that we're not doing anything. Like, we're networking, obviously, but to a point of, I can wake up some days or like I can be here talking to you and next thing I can look at my phone and say, oh my God, somebody sent me $1,000.
I used to think, you know what, it's because for people that are watching this, it probably sounds crazy, but I have been there where the phone is just going ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what is all of this?
It's just money.
It's just promos. It's just money. People sending money. Hey, post me this, post me that. And I always said, you know, because somebody like me struggles with organization and I watch you and they got all this stuff is happening, it's more than one person can manage when somebody has to manage that piece of it and also shoot all these promos because if I want you to shoot a promo for my business, I'm gonna want you to wear my clothes,
right? And you're that
use
person.
my banner,
You know,
do
you're that
my
person.
thing. Yeah, that person's not gonna let you just say, hey, this is the life coaching business, and then I'm gonna pay you money. I would want you to jump through the hoops and do whatever it takes.
Exactly. So you're one of those people who it takes a while.
It's gonna take a while, but
you're one of those people who for me personally, I don't like people like you. Okay,
because it's not gonna be free money.
Exactly. It's like, okay, now you're doing too much now. Okay, like, okay, I'm gonna make it, and we're gonna make it work, you know. But for a lot of these people, I think that with the promo thing, you know, with all this, whatever, the commercials that I have to shoot and stuff like that, at one point in time, it was like, I could get so much money to come in, and it might be somebody who had sent me money before, and I have no idea who they are. So they sent me money again, and I'm like, free money, because I don't know who this person is, you know, at first. And that was before I was really trying to, like, turn it into a business, I guess. At one point in time, it was just, I'm just trying to make money, you know, and I can make money off this. But seeing the longevity in it, now it's like, I realized if I get a little site and I tell people this is how you can pay me, but you have to fill this thing out first, or you have to contact me here or there, and people actually listen, then usually we get to where it's like, oh, okay, they put it in the notes. Okay, I know who this is for. We can, 24-hour turnaround time or whatever I give people on the weekend. On the weekend, I'm like, don't even message me because I'm happy busy, like type of thing. But just stuff like that, I think it kind of is to the point now where people are getting more accustomed to the promo, so they realize that it's not. At first, I think people just thought, like, we sit around behind the green screen and it's like, you give me the money and then I'm just like, go shop with so-and-so, and then you get it right away, and it's kind of like,
there's too much of it happening. It's like anything, if somebody's popular, you're gonna have a lot of people trying to buy this. So with you or somebody in that boat, it's a supply and demand thing, right? But the thing is that you're not trying to turn the faucet off either, right? So you're the money's still coming in. You just have to figure out how to shoot all these
because
different
at
things.
one point in time, I remember starting promos, and it's fun because you always learn. You're not a master at anything when you first start. That I would, because of the money. Well, my promos, I was newer, so they were cheaper, like $100, But to somebody who's used to pay $300 to $500 for a promo, and to the same audience, they see I have the same audience, and mine's $100. They're like, I'm gonna buy one off her. So here I am, I'm talking front and back notebook long of people who are buying promos. And then I realized a lot of different things that for ad reasons, you can't have 9,000 commercials in a row and expect somebody to stick around for the TV show. You know what I mean? They're gonna switch the channel. It's so there had to be different things going on. So then it's like, wait, you guys, they're only gonna swipe up an ad so many people a day. They're only gonna watch such a long story. So once I kind of worked through the kinks of everything, it's like, now you understand. Okay, I see why you guys charge more, because you only can do so many per day. You don't want to just do everybody. You don't want, I don't want, I guess, somebody who's, small fry person all the way up there with, against big corporate whoever.
If you always do the biggest people, then you'll be associated with the biggest people, so that you get the bigger. It's just marketing. It's just trying to figure out where you.
And of course, I'll put the other people in there. Obviously,
you can, but it's a different thing. Right? For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that if I was somebody that was younger, if I was 20-something years old, I would probably take some bit of time in my life and say, I'm gonna at least go out and try to do some of this stuff and see what happens. especially somebody like you that you can always go back to working at the hospital.
Exactly. And that's kind of
that, right?
my thing is I feel like I did go about maybe what I'm doing the right way because at least I did do the school.
Yeah.
So I do have something to fall back on as long as I never get in trouble.
But I think there's a few different things that could happen that could definitely change the way that that's done. And that would be full-on legalization of marijuana. Then anyone can do ads anywhere to anyone. That would definitely make it harder for the promo game to state what it is. I think it would. So I do think it would be a gradual thing. I don't think it'd be like, oh, it's legal, no one's going to do promos. I think that would still exist because, to your point, there's other things that people are doing promos on as well. It's not just that. But
yeah, I definitely think that now, as the years go by, it's starting to become more true about them saying, it's who you know, not what you know,
that's right.
You know, type of thing. But also, kind of with the people that I've met, I've realized that a lot of them do have what I would say like special thinking. I would call more of maybe black sheep mentality. So when you talk to them, you may hear them say things that are very smart, especially a lot of them maybe not so much book smart, but definitely money or street smart.
Oh, for sure.
Type of things. And they have out of this world crazy ideas that mainstream people aren't thinking. But I think it's a risk factor that they have too that allows them to think about, you know, things kind of in a different way